The proudly South African Nissan off-road team notches up its 4th successive victory on the Nissan Sugarbelt 400. Mark Corbett and Gavin Kelsey lead the special vehicle field as back vehicles finish 1, 2, 3 in one of the toughest events on the ABSA Off-Road Championship calendar. These highlights are dedicated to the memory of Mike Stungle, who was tragically killed during the event.
The South African Off-Road Championship is proudly brought to you by ABSA. Speak to ABSA first for fast, flexible vehicle finance. We can also structure an asset finance solution to suit your business needs. It's really never been easier.
The Nissan Sugarbelt 400, round 2 of the ABSA Off-Road Championship, took place in the Eston area near Pietermaritzburg recently. The Natal Off-Road Motor Club has, as always, put on a great event that attracted 36 production vehicles and 66 special vehicles, which was huge by normal standards. There were 33 entries in Class B for 2-litre powered space frame vehicles and a further 21 in Class A for unlimited space frame vehicles, including the long-awaited Porter of Shamir Variawa. The ever-growing Class D for 6-cylinder production vehicles with limited modifications, which is fast becoming the new playground for the factory teams, attracted 18 entries. Conditions were hot and dry, and the tough 400-kilometre route, which comprises a south loop of 115 kilometres and a west loop of 85 kilometres, included tracks through cane fields, forestry sections and a river that had to be crossed 13 times. Proceedings got underway on Friday with a 35-kilometre prologue to determine starting positions for Saturday's main event. The Production Vehicle Championship sees Nissan crews occupying the top placings, with Class D and Class E Toyota crews well placed to mount a challenge as the season progresses. Victory in the season-opening Nissan Dealer 400 in Darling gave Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jordan in the proudly South African Nissan Hardbody an early advantage in the Production Vehicle Championship.
We had a good start. Winning in the first one is always good. So we'll take it step by step. And you know, this race here is always very tough. It's been for the last 3 years, and you've got to finish it. It's very rough out there in some sections, and it's also a very long race because it's quite slow. And for me, this is the toughest race of the year. So if you can do well here, I think it'll help you quite a bit in the championship as well.
New Castrol Toyota team members Paolo Piazza Musso and Rod Herring delivered the goods by winning Class D in the Western Cape.
I'm going to keep a really open mind this championship. The objective is for Toyota to score good points, and I really think my role in the team is to do just that. So I'll let the 2 young lions fight out for position, and I'll be there to collect the result.
Former Class E champions Hugo and Father Jaap de Bruin finished 4th in the Western Cape in their Class E Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7i and share 2nd place in the championship with Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek.
Het baie goed gery in die Kaap. Geluk was aan ons kant geweest. Ons het nie groot probleme gehad nie. Die probleme wat ons wel gehad het, ons uitgesort. Ons hoop ons voorbereiding is reg vir hierdie reis. Ek is ongelukkig. Ek in die Sugarbelt is nie pelle nie. So my strategie vir hierdie wedren gaan wees om klaar te maak dat ons kan punte huis toe vat.
Atang Machagneni and Mike Stungle won the Nissan Dealer 400 for the 2nd successive time in the Total Jimco to give them a 10-point lead in the Special Vehicle Championship. Class B entries dominate the rest of the placings. Machagneni and Stungle took full advantage of the powerful Chevy LS1 engine fitted to the Total Jimco to lead for most of the race, all but for a brief spell when they wrong slotted.
We are just here to finish the race. We're holding full points right now, which is our interest is just to finish the race. And if we finish like we've always done, history speaks for itself. We finish very well.
The surprise of the Nissan Dealer 400 was Audrey Roots and Dion de Kock, who finished 3rd overall in their aging but well-prepared Class B Global DAD WPP.
Lady Luck eventually turned my way at the Darling event, and we had a good event. And everyone had helped us with that event. But now the pressure's on me, and as you can see now, I'm worried at this stage when everybody's looking up towards me to see what they can do. And now, like you said, you've got 37 cars chasing me, and I've got to keep up front to keep the championship going.
Reigning Class S drivers, champion Nick Gosler and Graydon Ilderton, were the only Class S finishers and naturally won the class in the Western Cape in the Kopanong Hotel Super Team Raceco.
We're only planning to have a Class D entrant 6 months into the year, but Chris and Robbie's car arrived early and we made a decision to get it ready for the Sugarbelt, which we're all very pleased. It's well prepared, it's ready, and I believe this car is going to finish in Class D. We got an extra application from Bix Carolyn, and what we had to do with his case is take the Buick out and put the BMW in, and the logistics of getting that right in time for this race, unfortunately, we couldn't make, but we are going to definitely have it ready for the desert, and so we'll have all 5 of our cars at the desert race.
There were anxious moments before the prologue when the headlights on reigning Special Vehicle Co-Drivers champion Brandon Harkis's adrenalized corporate entertainment back fused repeatedly. The production vehicle ranks are growing, and the 3-car entry of Bosel Africa will be a major boost for Class D and E.
We decided on the Australian version, double cab Hilux with the V6 3.4 litre, which comes out standard overseas, which is allowed in our rules because it's a production car in the rest of the world. And hopefully it should do well. We're just going to try it for the first time at the Sugarbelt and see how it goes.
The moment everyone had been waiting for finally arrived when Shamir Variawa's American-built oven-fresh biscuits porter was offloaded. The state-of-the-art vehicle had proven to be a rocket ship in testing, and much was expected from the former driver's champion who had not been in action for over 2 years.
Yeah, we're quite confident on the car. It handles beautiful. It's unbelievable, basically. The only problem we have is we're running a slightly detuned motor for this type of event, but I think it will be fine. The rest of the things is just we'll go along and play it as it comes off. I think we'll do quite good in the time trials today. We wouldn't want to take off first because I've raced this race many times, and I know if you take off first, you're just wasting your time. So I think from 5 position downwards to 10, it's fine. Hopefully we'll do that today.
Karting superstar Gavin Cronje missed out on his off-road racing debut when the Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7i could not be completed in time for the first event.
I think the mental preparation has been the big one for me that I've gone through. The team has done a good job to get us here, and we've done a bit of testing and see if we can get through this. That's our goal, is to get through this event so that we know what's to come for the desert race, which is next.
Archie Rutherford swapped roles and moved from the co-driver's seat in Terence Marsh's Nashua Mobile Gymco to the driver's seat of his own Class S Devco Africa Raceco.
It's a Raceco. It's got a 3-litre Nissan Motorsport mode in. We've got a bit of problems now. Obviously the power steering hose has burst before the time trial, so we're rushing back for that. But hopefully it'll go well. It's reliable. It's Frikkie Botha's old car, and we hope it does the job for us.
Accurate navigation would play a key role on the Nissan Sugarbelt 400.
On the navigation side, look, obviously it's very crucial that you pick up every point and you don't overshoot, and you call the corners very early, because the terrain is such that you're carrying such high speed through the type of terrain and in the forests, and there's times that with the shadows you don't see that well. So it's important that we're exactly on the picture and to the meter, basically. So yeah, but our bike riding experience is going to be a big help.
Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jordan won the prologue in 27 minutes 36 seconds at an average speed of 76 kilometers per hour. That was fast. Nissan teammates Hannes Frobler and Richard Leek were 11 seconds slower and were plagued by the engine management system cutting out. Fortunately, the problem was solved before the main event. Pietermaritzburg-based Neil Woolrich and Ken Scholthammer were the third fastest qualifiers in the Team Ford Racing Ranger, and along with Duncan Voss and Henny Testeger in the third Class T Nissan, would start 55 seconds behind the leading Nissan. Alfie Cox also hails from Pietermaritzburg, and he and fellow off-road motorcyclist Ralph Pitchford were the leading Class D qualifiers in the Arnold Chatz Cars Nissan Hardbody, in which Cox won the class on last year's event. Another Pietermaritzburg-based crew, Cane Farmers Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham, were 6th fastest and 2nd in Class D in the Team Ford Racing Ranger. One would have thought that they'd spent enough time in the cane during the week. Reigning Class D champions Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo were 7th fastest in the GBS Racing Nissan Hardbody and were followed 3 seconds later by reigning Class E champions Mark Cronje and Chris Birkin in the Class D Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7i, which is clearly at a disadvantage in the more powerful 6-cylinder powered vehicles. Henry Zamatin and Bodo Zwegler were 9th in the Mastercraft PlayStation Pajero and 39 seconds adrift of Cronje and 4 seconds faster than the first Class E qualifiers, Hein Mulman and Cecil Fincham in the 4x4 Mega World Toyota Hilux KZTE. As was to be expected, the Class T vehicles dominated the top placings, with Class D entries filling 5 of the top 10 production vehicle starting positions.
I went to a few doctors and to try and sort the problem out, but they said, 2 races or 2 months before that I hurt my neck quite badly, a whiplash in the Carnival City race. We drove into a hole there. And apparently it's one of the reasons it might be from that, from the bad whiplash that you get motion sickness. So I had it for the Sugarbelt and a little bit in the desert race, but after that it's fine and I haven't had a problem ever since. So hopefully it'll be okay tomorrow and I wouldn't have to suffer again like I did last year.
Shamir Variawa and Nadine Dudier qualified 3rd fastest overall in the Oven Fresh Biscuits Porter and were the fastest special vehicles qualifiers. An impressive performance. Despite being slowed by fuel pressure problems, Brandon Harkis and Achim Bergman were still able to claim 2nd spot in the Adrenalized Corporate Entertainment Bet, but had Toyota Dealer 400 winners Mark Corbett and Gavin Kelsey in the Century Property Development Bet only 13 seconds behind. Even the Hardy-Dars took flight when they heard Bevan Berthold and James Kinnelly on their way in their Audi V8 powered bat. Jokes aside, Berthold is an accomplished driver and came back from a long layoff to qualify 4th, over a minute ahead of Frikkie Botha and Blackie Swart in the Lexus V8 powered Proco Jimco. Terence Marsh and Michael Whitehouse were next up in the Nashua Mobile Jimco, which is powered by a supercharged Mitsubishi V6 motor. Piet Retief-based Johan van Jaarsveld and Marlene Lindeque were 8th fastest and the top Class B qualifiers in the ACECO, which he designed and built, while another KwaZulu-Natal-based crew, Clint Gibson and Mike Brown, were 8th fastest in the Presidium Bat, which is also fitted with an Audi V8 motor. Another bat with Philip Vosloo and Evan Hutchinson on board qualified 9th fastest, giving the locally designed and built chassis 5 of the top 10 placings. Veterans Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne in the Class S Plastertech Raceco occupied 10th place. The gap between 1st and 10th place was only 3 minutes. Rob Walk did some cane harvesting too. This off-road excursion cost him dearly, and he and son Gareth, with whom he shares the Superpave Mighty Mag, would start 37th the next day. Class A vehicles dominated, with only 1 Class S and 1 Class B vehicle making it into the top 10.
Yeah, it's 8 seconds faster than Brendan. It's not too much, but I haven't driven a racing car for 1.5 years. It's the first time I've driven this car in 1.5 years. So we'll see. Maybe if I get used to it, I'll get faster, or we don't know.
Richard Schilling and Bucks Carolyn have a friendly wager on the go, with Sunfield Homes being the benefactor.
Another technical knockout. Unfortunately, Buxy sent through a fax this morning saying that he had technical difficulties, real technical difficulties with his car and wasn't going to make it. So
It fell down, so it
I guess I won the round without even going to the fight. It's a pity.